Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You are here in the home of the slightly above average ship review. I'm your host KPZ. Got a capture the base match on the big race, and we're here in the tier 3 premium Brazilian Ottoman Empire Royal Navy battleship. Third time's the charm, I guess. Agincourt. We are top tier, as you can see. And the Agincourt was the result of a 3-week earn-op. I really prefer those as to just doling out the ship to everybody. So it wasn't that hard. It did have a couple tedious ones. We had to light a bunch of fires and capture the base. So the tons of destroyers for the capture the base ones. So other than those ones, all in all, I enjoyed the earn-op. I think it was a good way to do your daily missions, and you get this battleship that has an absolute ton of firepower. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, count them, twin rifle turrets. You have 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, 3 in the rear. So I guess if you were numbering these, AB in the front, I would say CD in the middle, and then XYZ at the rear. And you also have really good secondaries, although the range isn't great, about 6.2 maybe, I'm guessing. We're going to review it in the port afterwards. So if you're that one guy who expects me to know everything, guess what, guy? I still don't know it. And more importantly, I still don't care. The people who come to this channel know you're not getting the best ship review on the planet. I'm not a community contributor. I don't know off the top of my head what millimeter armor plating a 16-inch gun can penetrate. I just give you the slightly above average view of what I think about these ships. Alright, here we're just spamming HE towards that destroyer. We do set him on fire, but unfortunately someone else is going to kill him. You can see our secondaries are already activated, and not a lot of people are shooting at us. You know, the Agincourt, just from appearances only, kind of reminds me of a Russian battleship. Although I'm not saying it is anything other than a first glimpse. What does this remind me of? Obviously, with 7 turrets, I would say that's more like a Japanese ship. Now, I don't know if the British just came up with it on their own, or the Brazil specified certain armaments or not for this ship. I guess we could look that up while I'm backing up here. Let's go to my supercomputer. Agincourt battleship. HMS Agincourt was a dreadnought battleship built by the UK in the early 1910s, originally part of Brazil's role in a South American naval arms race. She holds the distinction of mounting more heavy guns, 14, and more turrets, 7, than any other dreadnought battleship. So Brazil did order this ship in 1911 with those armaments. And its original name was going to be Rio de Janeiro. Boy, while I was talking there, I wasn't paying attention to what was happening on the screen. Someone ran afoul of a full gun salvo, I do believe, and they paid the price. Kill number 1. Alright, got a destroyer behind the island over there. You can see a couple of the guns still are shooting over the island there, so that's pretty interesting. We are going to line up some armor piercing towards that B-170. Here go the secondaries. A crescendo of fire. Somebody else takes him out there. But I think you could have seen if that was just us and the V-170, these secondaries would have ripped him apart. Unfortunately, in this game, I really didn't get the opportunity to showcase the secondary guns, which is what I wanted to do, but it was a really good game, so I couldn't turn away from it and say, oh, forget this ever happened, kind of thing. So right here, looking at the scoreboard, our team is winning. There is a carrier still out there, a cruiser, and a destroyer on the far side of those mountains. There's the carrier. Also have an enemy Agincourt off the starboard bow. We will have to deal with that landlubber later on. But right now I'm thinking to myself, well, nobody's shooting at me. Nobody's bombing me. No torpedoes are coming at me. Maybe, since I can't shoot at the cruiser who's behind an island, Duguay-Trouin. Maybe since I can't shoot at the Duguay-Trouin, I will shoot at the aircraft carrier here. Here I'm just trying to justify any other reason to shoot at any other ship, and I can't find one, so I'm like, well, instead of showcasing the secondaries, why don't I show you the long-range accuracy of the Agincourt? And keep in mind, we are not built for accuracy. My one mod and mod slot 1 is the secondary mod. But here, the Rhine has not even given us a good profile. But we're just going to use these big guns and the big turrets here, all 7 of them, to dink and doink away at the Rhine. He finally started coming after me with airplanes, but he whiffs there. And I would say, all in all, I was not disappointed with the accuracy of the ship at range. Now, granted, it is an aircraft carrier, so there's a lot to hit, but on the other hand, he's not necessarily giving us a good profile to hit at, not like that first ship that we totally eradicated right off the board. So, you know, I'm not disappointed with this. It's about what I was expecting. I am not running the accuracy commander either, so this is Charles Madden behind the wheel here. And all in all, I can say I'm not disappointed with this. Obviously, you want to get the ships into your secondary range. This versus a Nassau, I think, would be a really interesting 1v1 to pull off. Maybe in, like, if you get the chance in rank battles or arena. Because the Nassau is going to want to get in close to use the secondaries. But that's where you have a lot of secondaries too. And it'll clean up a lot of these dispersion issues that you're seeing at range. And I think the Agincourt might hang against the Nassau. Now here he's coming in to dive bomb me with torpedoes. Even though this is a dreadnought battleship, we are still able to accelerate out of the path of the torpedoes from a dead stop. So being slightly angled and having a quick eye for when those torpedoes are coming in will allow you to do that. Meanwhile, as I was blabbering, we killed the aircraft carrier. Now it's time, folks. I'm almost fully healthy. I am taking on an almost fully healthy Agincourt. Agincourt versus Agincourt as we dodge some more torpedoes. Who will come out on top? Well, I can tell you I don't want to go into the bow of this ship because it has an armor belt there, like most dreadnought-style battleships. So I do not plan to do that. Instead, when we're coming around the island here, depending on his bearing, I may try to go around behind him and force him to turn his turrets. Because really, that's one of the most effective things you can do in this game is force the enemy ship to turn their turrets. Okay, here I'm thinking about that bow plating, but I know there's an armor belt there. And so that's just not worth my time. Superstructure, not worth my time. I think he's actually trying to ram me here. But since we were going full speed, I turned a little bit and managed to avoid that. Now we just got to let our turret traverse catch up with the citadel of the enemy Agincourt. Yeah, you always want to avoid the collision if you can help it. They want that because they know they can't beat you 1v1. All right, there's the high caliber metal at only 52,000 damage. All right, maybe 53. You know, we're exchanging secondary fire here. You can see the counter going up like crazy. I'm sure it is for him as well. There, his first salvo, we were angled a little bit. He put that into the stern of the ship. Didn't really do a ton of damage. I mean, it did some damage, but I got plenty of repair parties. I'll worry about that later. Here, we're getting ready to uncork this full salvo, knocking off chunk after chunk of hit points there. Really nice chunk there at the end. Secondaries continuing to fire. Set him on fire. And we're doing good health-wise. So he definitely came out the worse for it in this encounter. Sorry, I upped my kill counter by 1, I think. We are only at 2 kills right now. I think I slipped in. I've went from 1 to 3. Here we shoot up in the superstructure and take him out. And we're going to lob some shells at this enemy destroyer out there. A Samson. And we do get an overpen there, I believe. But it's going to be a little bit. before we finish them off. So what can you say about the Agincourt? Well, I think it's got a pretty good armor profile for this tier. Obviously, you gotta love the firepower. 7 twin barrel turrets. Really gotta like that. I like the secondaries, although we didn't see them get to do a ton of work. In my first match in this ship, I got 2 close quarter experts, but then that second close quarter expert was on a destroyer who torped out on me, so that didn't end well for me, which is why you're not going to see that. So all in all, I think it is a fun ship. How would I rate it among the tier 3 premiums? Well, I would say it is better than the Turenne. It is better than the Bellerophon. You know, the Nassau is such a strong ship. It's hard for me to rank it above the Nassau without seeing more. I honestly wish they had put this ship at tier 4. I really would have liked a tier 4 British ship. And you know, they could just fudge the numbers or increase the hit points or lower the main battery reload. And they could have made that work. I really would have liked this maybe as a Pan-American ship under the British flag. Whatever. You know, at the end of the day, I would put Nassau. This is going to be like a Warspite Huga situation, I think, where, you know, if you have that Nassau fully built out for secondaries, you might be able to use the extra secondary range to take out an Agincourt, but the Agincourt is going to punch so hard with these 14 gun barrels that I'm going to say 1A, 1B, Warspite Huga at tier 5, Agincourt Nassau at tier 3. TBD, to be determined based on later battles. Maybe I can fight a Nassau 1v1, relatively speaking, and give you more info after that. But for right now, just a couple of matches under my belt. I like the Agincourt. I think it's a good ship, a fun ship. I hope you didn't have any problem getting it. And as I'm trying to peel the stickers off my computer here, waiting for this destroyer to come get killed. Come get killed, destroyer. I have a video to make. I also want to take this moment to thank my, I think it's 218 subscribers at last count. Really appreciate you subscribing. And if you're the one guy who's very upset that I might not buy the Kronstadt, you are not the boss of me and you can't tell me how to spend my money. All right. Imagine telling somebody that they have to buy something to make you happy. Unreal. All right, so here we are on the victory screen. High caliber metal, fireproof metal. 93,120 total damage. 4 big kills mixed in a Citadel hit. 84 secondary battery hits. It's a fun ship. I don't think it is overpowered in any particular sense. But the secondaries are strong. Here we are at the top of the board. 1464 with those 4 big kills. We did have a chance for a 5th kill in there along the way. Just didn't get it. Otherwise, this would have been a Kraken game. Is this ship Kraken capable? Obviously it is. I hope y'all got it and enjoy it. And now let's go into the port and take a look at her. All right, just one upgrade, the secondary battery mod 2. You know, if you wanted to build it for aiming systems and a range build, you could certainly do that. We got 5 charges of the repair party, 3 charges of the secondary targeting. We didn't run any booster flags. Got this Type 9 permanent camo. And the Brazil Sailor's Day flag to represent the origin of the ship. All right, 43,500 hit points with a 14% torpedo damage reduction. Got those 7 twin 305mm turrets, 12.3 kilometer firing range, 19.4 second reload, 31 second turn time. HE shells, looks like 4,400 damage with a 31% fire chance. AP shells, 8,100 damage. 2 sets of secondaries. The first set is 10 by 176mm guns. Probably won't do a lot except to destroyers. They reload every 3 seconds to 1,100 HE shell damage with a 4% fire chance. Second set of 20 152mm guns. Those reload every 4.5 seconds. Those do 2,200 HE shell damage with a 12% fire chance. And that's the guns that make these secondaries so powerful. The range of both sets of secondaries, 7.6 kilometers. So for this tier, that's not too shabby either. All right, there is no AA on the maneuverability. 21 knots, 670 meter turning circle, 12.1 second rudder shift time. Concealment 12.1 on the surface, 9.8 from the air, 9.4 when firing in smoke. Here is a look at the armor viewer again. Like many other Dreadnought battleships, does have an armor belt going to the prow of the ship. Got this weird patchwork citadel. Little heavy plate in the front there. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Put this bow back on. You do have a 102 millimeter armor belt, and then above that, 19 millimeter bow. So that's all good and everything. 25 millimeter side plating below the waterline for those torpedoes. And barbettes not heavily armored at all. I will expect that you will see turrets getting knocked out in this thing. But that being said, the barbettes above the bow and stern are more heavily armored. I like that. The sides of the turrets are more heavily armored. I like that. Those barbettes in the middle are kind of terrifying. Here you do have some varying armor thickness on the broadside. Again, still won't prevent those barbettes from getting knocked out, but you do have a plate up to 229. And there is the armor profile of the Agincourt. Here's our commander, Charles Madden. We don't spec Charles Madden for secondaries. Obviously, you could do that if you wanted to. But here I'm running a brawler build with brawler, porcupine, firefighter, master mechanic, and running with scissors. You could also use, you know, the heel one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button.